Good evening and welcome to the Nevis Newscast. Today is Tuesday, May 31st, 2016. I'm Donis Wilkinson Keynes. The Development Bank of St. Kitts and Nevis is celebrating its 35th anniversary of operations and hosting a series of activities in celebration of the milestone. One of the activities was a business fair held at the D.R. Walwyn Plaza in Charlestown on Friday, May 27th, which began with an official opening ceremony. Manager of the Nevis branch of the Development Bank of St. Kitts and Nevis is Hyacinth Pemberton.
35 years in business truly gives us the reason to celebrate and is also an occasion to pause and reflect at our 35-year journey while positively looking ahead to another glorious 35 years. Over the years, the Development Bank of St. Kitts and Nevis has made significant contribution to the development of the Federation in the areas of housing, education, agriculture, industry, commerce, and personal development. I myself am a product of the Development Bank, not just as an employee, but also as a proud student.
A member of the bank's board of directors, Stephen Jones, emphasized that the bank's main focus is developing the Federation's human resource.
Over 90% of the loans are approved for education because we believe that the human resource is our best resource. We therefore think that we should invest fully in our young people. However, as we congratulate the bank on its 35th anniversary, we must ensure that the bank strives for high ideals by continuing on the splendid service the bank has been giving over the years.
Premier of Nevis, the Honorable Vance Amory, in his remarks, stated that the bank has made a significant positive difference in the economy.
I believe that our development bank has made a significant difference to the lives of all of the people of our country. Students who have benefited, you heard Hyacinth speak of our own benefit, those who got scholarships, those who were able to access loans, the business owners who have received loans, those people who were looking for mortgages for their homes, they got their support. People in agriculture also got support. So you see the extended and the large benefit which this bank has granted to so many people in all sectors of the economy.
The fair featured the products and the services of various institutions the bank has been cooperating with over the years. The theme for the 35th anniversary is celebrating 35 years of service and progress to the Federation. We have made a difference. Prime Minister the Honorable Dr. Timothy Harris and his cabinet have congratulated sprint star Kim Collins on his historic win in Bottrop, Germany on Saturday, May 28th, when he placed first in the 100 meters, clocking a time of 9.93 seconds. Collins' performance makes him the first man over age 40 to ever clock below 10 seconds. Speaking at his monthly press conference on May 30th, Prime Minister Harris hailed the record-breaking performance of Collins and congratulated all those who have worked with him to achieve such a feat. Collins demolished a formidable feat in Bottrop, Germany to once again sprint into the world sprint history books. He blazed to a time of 9.93 seconds, beating his personal best at 40. On Sunday, Collins improved his personal best from 9.96 run in London in July 2014 and lowered his own national record. 13 years after his historic world title championship in Paris, France, Kim Collins' career has included his participating 5 times in the Olympics and winning 6 world championship medals, including outdoors and indoors. Representatives from a number of government ministries and community organizations has, over the past 2 days, benefited from a workshop on heightening awareness on the issue of human rights, the Universal Periodic Review process, and the work of the United Nations treaty bodies. The event was a collaborative effort of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the United Nations Development Program, and the United Nations Commission on Human Rights.
The charter-based system is a system that applies to all countries that are parties or members of the United Nations. There are 193 countries in the United Nations, and they would have agreed to the charter. So under the charter, there are certain obligations. You have the UPR, which is the Universal Periodic Review. You have special procedures, etc. Under the treaty base, that is more voluntary. It's a more voluntary system where countries sign on to treaties voluntarily, and they have a responsibility to report to treaty bodies under those treaties. There are 9 core human rights instruments. These are under the treaties. And how are they tied to us? These relate to specific rights which were outlined in the Universal Declarations on Human Rights, but these relate specifically to human rights, rights of the child, rights of women, rights of persons with disabilities, etc. And because St. Kitts and Nevis is a member of the United Nations, we are called on to fulfill our obligations under these instruments.
The government of St. Kitts and Nevis was praised for its great intention of promoting and protecting human rights.
We can look at our social policies, we can look at our constitution and some domestic laws which outline the rights that we uphold, the rights to freedom, the right to free speech. And I think St. Kitts and Nevis is doing pretty well in terms of promoting and protecting human rights. What we probably need to look at is whether we need to ratify some of these conventions which relate to human rights. But of course the government would need a national interest in so doing. A government cannot impose these on its people, and therefore it will have to have national dialogue, etc., with the populace in order to ensure that it doesn't do anything against the populace. Whereas on the other hand, the country still wants to adhere to these international standards.
The Human Rights Workshop aimed not only to educate government ministries and agencies, but also the civil society, including non-governmental organizations and the mass media. Still to come, CARICOF warns region to brace for more hurricane activity. The details after this break.
Regional HIV Testing Day is Friday, June 24th, and free testing is available here so you can know your status. Getting an HIV test is a smart and responsible thing to do for your well-being and that of the ones you love. Get info from iliveup.info on the web. Regional Testing Day for 9 years, an initiative of the Caribbean Broadcast Media Partnership, supported by PANCAP and Scotiabank.
Are you positive you are negative? Live up today.
As a responsible citizen, your tax dollars protect our environment. Pay your taxes on time. This message was brought to you by the Inland Revenue Department, Nevis.
Be a responsible citizen.
Celebrating the old, showcasing the new. Culturama 42.
Welcome back. A 2-day Caribbean Regional Climate Outlook Forum, CARICOF, began in Dominica on Monday, with the region being told to brace itself for a wetter than usual season and chances of more hurricane activity this year than in the past 5 years. Annie Joseph, climatologist with the Dominica Meteorologist Service, DMS, who represented the wet hurricane season outlook for 2016, said that between the period June to August, there would also be a gradual drought alleviation across the region, and that surface water reservoirs will recharge. There will be soil moisture replenishment and an increase in river flow. She predicted that water shortage-related problems in agriculture will disappear in many places, and that where it has not already started, the wet season may start abruptly in June. The outlook noted that the second half of the wet season will be wetter or usual in countries like Belize and the Leeward Islands, with Correct Joseph warning that moist conditions may favor mosquito breeding. The outlook, which was prepared by the DMS in collaboration with the Caribbean Institute for Meteorology and Hydrology, also warned of extremely wet spells occurring with a serious potential for flash flooding and landslides. Meantime, according to Correct Joseph, September to November will be wetter than usual, and there will also be chances of more hurricane activity than in the past 5 years. There are predictions for 12 named storms this year, with US-based scientists Klotzbach and Gray indicating the region having to deal with at least one major storm in the category of either 3, 4, or 5. There is also the forecast that the temperature during the next 6 months will be above to normal, and that both nights and days will be warm. The implications as a result will be enhanced health risk from heat exposure and higher than usual energy costs for cooling. The DMS climatologist said that La Nina increases chances of a wetter dry season, and that this could be similar to the dry season of 2011, when some said there was no dry season. A release from the press secretary to the Prime Minister says the Team Unity administration yesterday, May 30th, reiterated its commitment to the highest level of due diligence and transparency in relation to the Citizenship by Investment program, with the revocation of passports for David B. Kaplan and his wife Lisa M. Kaplan, who are both named in a recent U.S. SEC filing. In U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission versus David B. Kaplan et al., filed on May 19, 2016, the SEC announced that it has obtained an asset freeze against attorney and a Nevada resident David B. Kaplan, who is accused of misrepresenting investments and misappropriating investor funds. It is alleged that some of these funds were wired to a St. Kitts law firm to assist them in attaining St. Kitts and Nevis citizenship. According to the release, the Kaplan's application was processed after appropriate due diligence checks by a highly reputable, internationally renowned due diligence service provider found no evidence of impropriety or illegal activity. Based on the filing by the U.S. Security Exchange Commission, which was released on May 27, 2016, the government of St. Kitts and Nevis has decided to revoke the passports with immediate effect. That's it for this evening's edition of the Nevis Newscast. On behalf of all of us here at the Department of Information, thank you for viewing. I'm Donis Wilkinson-Keynes. Good night.
It only takes a few minutes for rising water to become a flood. Are you ready? Prepare your family and community. Look for rapidly rising water. Act. Go to safety immediately. For more information, contact the Nevis Disaster Management Department